to Sensational Living with Liliana. I hope you've all had a great Thanksgiving. What a wonderful opportunity to be able to really be in a state of gratitude for all that we have in our lives. And the holidays really remind us of really connecting with family. And it was really fun yesterday when we were all in here in the kitchen cooking. Lots of commotion going on, and like Joni Mitchell said, the best place in the house is always the kitchen. And so as we were cooking, I decided rather than doing the grace at the presentation of the meal where everybody's waiting for nice warm food, and it's always an art to get that food right on that plate on time where everything's warm, I decided to have a gathering and we would all do a blessing prior to actually putting the food on the table. And it was really wonderful because as we all gathered in the kitchen holding hands and each one of us said what we were grateful for, it was really nice to see the younger generation in gratitude of the gift of learning how to cook. And so it was really beautiful to be able to say, cooking, especially bone broth, is one of the most satisfying and nurturing things that you could do in regards to your health. So today what I'd like to do is I'd like to share with you one of my favorite recipes. And you can use this with chicken, you can use it with turkey, you can use it with any kind of meat in regards to a good quality bone. Now, I hope you guys have all saved your bones, your carcasses. I know my sister brought her turkey over. I had one. We're fighting, who's going to take the bones home and who's going to keep what. So we each shared. We started cooking last night. So I do a bone broth that's going to be about a 24-hour, very slow cook. I put about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in there just so that it can leach out some of the minerals into the broth and makes it really, really nice, very, very dense. So you always want to start out with an organic, pasteurized bone or meat of sort. So that's the main ingredient besides love. So we're going to go ahead and start here. I've been very gently cooking this for 24 hours, so you can see this here. I'm going to go ahead and pour it into the bowl. So you're going to want to have a strainer. And so just kind of pour it in there. Try not to get it everywhere. But it's really beautiful because when it's been cooking for 24 hours, not only is the smell absolutely extraordinary, but it really breaks down and you're really able to get the benefits of all the nutrients that are in this beautiful bone broth. Now, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the benefit of bone broth. And again, this is really, I would say, probably one of the most ancient methods of utilizing any kind of a carcass, because see, what you can't utilize in regards of tendons and feet and other parts of the meat, you can actually boil them up and use them in a nice soup. So you're really getting all the wonderful benefits. So you want to shake it out. You want to get this as much broth in here as you possibly can. I'm going to take this over here, transfer it over. We'll get a little more broth out of it as it sits. Okay. So let's start here. Now, one of the things I love about bone broth, and this is what I tell my patients, that it heals so many ailments, which is wonderful. Bone broth has all of the minerals and trace minerals. It has arginine, it has glucosamine, it has proline, it has magnesium, potassium. It's really, really loaded. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about each one of those benefits as we go forward. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started here. Okay. So now we've got this beautiful yellow, wonderful, rich broth here. And I'm going to go ahead and strain it one more time. So I got a nice little sieve here. So I'm going to go ahead and put it through that. Just to get any of the debris out. And so what I like to do with my bone broth, just to give it a little added benefit, is I like to put a lot of herbs in here, garlic and onions and carrots and anything really that I had left over from yesterday that I was using, like celery, so that we can really get a lot of the other nutrients that we can get out of all of the Allison type foods like the garlic and the onions, just to make it a little bit more medicinal. All right, so now we got it going here. So we've got this beautiful rich broth here. Now I always start using the things that are takes a little longer to cook, like your carrots or your celery. Now you can use onions, but what I've decided to use is leeks because I really am going to make a really a light soup that's just not too dense after having a really scrumptious meal yesterday, and probably most of you, like myself, we overdid it a little bit. And even if you really try hard and to, maintain a good sense about eating in regards to the amounts, there's so many different dishes to try, and of course you're going to want to try each one of them. Just the food combining principle of it all makes it a little hard for digestion. And then of course we add all the beautiful gluten-free pies that we put into the mix, and that's usually the one ingredient that throws you over the edge. So a beautiful, turkey stock soup is the perfect antidote to overeating when you've had Thanksgiving. So we're going to go and start with leeks here. Love leeks because they're really delicate and really light. Okay, so I'm going to just give this a little swirl. So one of the things that I had mentioned as far as what I use for bone broth, I like to give this to patients when they have what's called leaky gut. You guys have heard me talk about leaky gut, and that's when the permeability of the gut intestinal lining becomes a little bit permeable, and antigens start to get out into the bloodstream, creating really a mess in regards to allergies. And so what bone broth does is it helps to heal with the glucosamine the junctures of the intestinal tract, which makes it really, really wonderful. So when patients have a leaky gut issues, they've got Crohn's, they've got ulcerative colitis, or even when they have cancer, I love using bone broth just by itself. And again, if patients have a situation where they're having a hard time even ingesting food, just the bone broth alone is super nutritious, and you can definitely survive on it. So besides the fact that it's got all these wonderful minerals in it, it's also got this incredible amount of collagen. And so the collagen is the building blocks of all of your body in terms of the matrix of the body, your skin, your hair, your nails. So for women especially, who we want to keep our skin as supple as we possibly can, I always recommend not only the bone broth but the collagen as well. About 2.5 milligrams of collagen to 5 milligrams a day really helps with wrinkles. So again, this is just another method to get food in that helps for the collagen as well. So I'm going to get that going now. Of course, I'm just going to go ahead and put the lid on this for a second. And it's going to be really quickly because I've chopped the vegetables up really small. So I like to keep everything al dente. Now a lot of people like chunky stews and soups, but I like it really fine just because it just makes it very delicate to eat. So you can make it any way you want. Now what I did yesterday is I saved all the little ends of everything that I was using, whether it was celery or was green beans or was parsley or the ends of onions, and so I really collected them all in a nice pot. I put the giblets that I didn't use because I actually made a bone broth prior to for 2 days so that I could make a plenty amount of gravy, since everybody loves gravy. So we did a roasted turkey, which didn't leave us much juice, so we did that in advance. So I had the opportunity to keep the giblets and all of the heart and things, the liver that came along with this, which made it really good. So again, I just accumulated all those vegetables. I started last night, I put the carcass in there, and I just let it go on a slow simmer, so about 24 hours. So it's really made it really rich and really dense. Another thing that bone broth is really good for is any kind of allergenic issues. So again, because it heals the gut, for patients who have allergies with gluten or with dairy allergens, this really, again, really helps to heal the gut as well. People who have any kind of arthritic issues as well, joint issues, this really helps for the synovium fluid, the glutamine, which is really great, the glycine, the proline, which is absolutely fantastic, the hyaluronic acid. So really, bone broth is really going to serve every aspect of the human anatomy, which is really fantastic. You can't get that in any other food. Now, a lot of the broths that are sold in the market, unfortunately, are made with vegetable cubes, which is manufactured, and it will have oftentimes some monosodium glutamate. So I just say, save all of the bones that you're using. If you're, baking a chicken or you're doing any kind of beef bones, save them up so long as they're organic. I just throw them in the freezer when I don't have time to make a bone broth. I pull them out, and then I go ahead and make my bone broth at least once a week so that I have that on hand for soups or just for sipping. So it's always wonderful to have. Now, what's really great about this is that it stores forever. So you could actually be making 6 or 7 jars of this. The top of it, when you actually stick it in the refrigerator, it will have this beautiful fat coating on it. You want to keep it there because that'll isolate, keep all the nutrients in, and so when you take it out, you're just going to kind of take that cap off and you're going to utilize it. So it's really self-preserving, which is really nice. So I say make that, bone broth, whatever you're doing, whether it's a beef or a lamb or a fish, chicken or turkey, once a week. Put them in your mason jars, stick them, let it cool down, stick them in your freezers. It'll get that nice cap, and then you can use it as you go along during the week, which is really wonderful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to add my carrots. So again, I add the things that are going to take a little longer to cook, and the things that are going to take shorter time, I'm going to put those in at the very, very end. So this is celery, so I added one carrot, so we're going to keep this really low carbohydrate. A lot of people put noodles in here, but we want to keep this as low carbohydrate as possible. So instead of putting noodles, I'm going to put some turnip, which kind of gives it a potato feel. I'm going to put that at the very end because I cut it really small, and so it's going to cook very, very quickly. Okay, beautiful. Oh, it smells fantastic. Now I don't necessarily need to put a whole lot of herbs in this. I'm going to add a few at the end, but I added thyme, I added rosemary, I added garlic, I added onions, I added peppercorns. So really this broth is already really rich and aromatic with all of those herbs. So again, I just go out to my garden, I pick them right out of the little trays there, and so I throw them in there, and again it just gives it that beautiful, not just the aroma, but the medicinal aspect of all these immune property herbs, which is really fantastic. Okay, so we got this going. So it's really, I tell patients, one of the things that we really want to pay attention to is during the holidays is really how do we succeed in going through the holidays in regards to keeping our weight at least at a maintenance level. Most patients don't want to go on a diet during this period, but I say, okay, if we can at least make the better decisions in regards when we're going to cocktail parties and other events, then it makes it a lot easier for us to maintain our weight. One of the tips that I always tell patients is that if they're going to go to an event, always ask if they can bring something. One of my favorite things to bring is a salad that's going to have some protein in it, like the chicken salad that I made, the tender chicken salad that we made. I think it was the second video. But that's wonderful because really it's a meal within itself. And also I tell patients one of the things that they can do is they can have a protein shake prior to going out as well, so that at least they have some balance in their blood sugar so that don't get to an event completely starving and they find that the only thing that they're serving there are a lot of carbohydrates and pizzas and pastas and things of that nature. One of the things I recommend also is wearing tight clothes, because if you go to a party wearing something that's already snug and if you eat a little bit more than you should, you feel very uncomfortable. Another thing I always tell patients is to have a glass of Perrier in your hand with a little lemon in it, a little bubbly water. So you've always got something in your hand, so only one hand is loose, so that if you're going to be picking something up, you're picking one thing up at a time. You're not holding a plate and then being able to eat off of that. That makes it a little easier as well. One of the other tips that I always recommend is that after you have eaten, straight away go brush your teeth, because nothing really tastes good after you brush your teeth, or pop a mint into your mouth, and that will also prevent you from going and having seconds. I would say probably dessert is probably the most problematic throughout this entire holiday season. I mean, we made the most fabulous gluten-free desserts. We had raspberry, we had pumpkin, we had lemon meringue pie, and of course, even getting a little sliver of each one, ended up making a big piece of pie. And as I said, it's all this food combining that really throws you over the edge. So oftentimes I tell my patients, if you can really handle it, wait for that dessert and have it the next day, sometime in the afternoon, when you're not already taxed and it's harder to digest in the evening. So for example, this afternoon, my daughter and I, right after breakfast, we decided to have a little slice of pumpkin pie. It felt great. We went on a walk. I don't feel any GI disturbances, not like how I did last night after I had a little sliver. So we don't want to make that mistake twice, that's for sure. Once you do it once and end up sitting in bed with a couple of pillows at night and not having a good night's sleep, hopefully you won't make the same mistake twice. So let's turn this down a bit. So one thing about bone broth is you want to cook it really slowly. You don't want to bring it to a real rolling boil, because we want to really extract all the minerals and the nutrients out on a very, very, very slow pace, so that it becomes really, again, more medicinal in nature. Excellent for the joints. So again, when you're doing sports, my sister did a marathon yesterday, and she's making her bone broth soup today. She went for a bike ride this morning. I said, oh my goodness, she's a glutton for punishment. And she said, oh, I got my bone broth going. So at least this time if she starts to cramp, she'll be able to have all the beautiful minerals, the magnesium, and as I said, the calcium, the phosphorus, and all of the beautiful minerals will help from cramping. So again, the bone broth is the key. Who doesn't like bone broth? When you were sick, what was the first thing your mother always offered you? Was some sort of a chicken soup. And it was, and as I say, you know, not just for the soul, but it really supports the immune system because it actually helps the production of the glutathione in the body. It's not only does it support your GI system, which is where 80% of your immunity in, but it helps for detoxification of the GI system, and it also supports the liver in its ability to detox as well. So not only is it a detoxifier, it supports the immune system. It's going to provide, you know, collagen for your skin to keep you supple, wrinkle-free, your joints and the synovial fluid, and also with the human growth hormone with the arginine. So really, you cannot go wrong. So again, I think bone broth is going to be #1 priority this season, not only just the holiday season, but the winter season when so many colds are, you know, it's hard not to get them when you're, especially for me who is exposed in a medical environment. But I never get sick because if I'm not doing, you know, tons of garlic and bone broth or grapeseed extract to support my immune system, you know, it really supports and helps to get through the winter season without getting colds. One beautiful thing about bone broth, it actually supports the respiratory system in an inflammatory manner as well. So it really makes for a wonderful medicinal soup. I'm going to put green beans in now, so I'm putting about a cup of green beans in here. You can see that I've chopped these really small because, again, I'd rather have a delicate soup. I'm not really into, you know, big crunchy soups. I like things that are just kind of a little bit more elegant than big and chunky. All right, how are we going there? So I sent out a little email earlier, or a little on Facebook, to save your carcasses. So hopefully all of you today have been smelling the wonderful aroma of your turkey stock that you've been preparing for this afternoon to have this beautiful soup. Now again, you can do this with chicken soup as well. So again, you don't have a turkey or anything that you roast. I always go and get an organic turkey, a free-range turkey. I'll take the whole thing, put it in water, throw all of my herbs in there. Once that chicken is actually done, I'll take it out, I'll debone it, throw the bones back in there, and then start my broth like that. And then of course I can use the chicken for a lot of things, putting some back into the soup, but chicken tacos or onto the salads. So it's always nice to be able to have that. Again, a lot of times what I'll do is if I've been cooking throughout the week, because we like to do turkey a lot, so I might once a week do a big turkey breast. So we just save those bones and put them in the freezer, which they'll keep very nice without getting any bacteria. And then we've got collected enough of them to make a really good soup. Then we'll bring them out during the weekend when we have time, when we're home and able to kind of keep a little eye on our broth. All right, how are we going here? This looks beautiful. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to turn the heat up just a tad. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add some zucchini. So it's approximately 2 zucchini, so it's about 1.5 cups, and again, little small, little chunks. I like things a little al dente, so not too terribly mushy. So when you cook vegetables, you're going to, the minerals are going to be there, but the enzymes are going to be gone in regards to their raw food. So the minerals stay in. So I tell patients the little crunchier, the better, just so we have a better nutrient base. So that looks fantastic already. Love it. This looks like potato, but it's not. And this is turnip. So again, this is optional. You know, when you bite into a turnip, it's kind of spicy, kind of a little like a radish. But when you cook it, actually it loses all of its kind of hotness. So it's really nice for patients who can't have potato because they are on a very low carbohydrate or ketogenic diet. They really miss that density of those root vegetables. So this really, really helps a lot. Again, only 1 carrot in here, but as you can see, you know, it gives it a lot of color. And again, you know, you'll have 3 or 4 or 5 pieces of carrots in your soup and still be able to enjoy without having too much glucose in it. So we're going to put this at the very end here. I'll put the lid on that so that can go. Excellent. So again, one of the things that I tell patients during the holidays is just really concentrate on drinking a lot of water, because everyone gets so dehydrated during this time, And so again, if we're drinking a lot of water, we have a tendency to feel more satiated. So I tell patients, when you feel a little hungry, because when it's winter, you automatically want to have more carbohydrates. The body wants a little bit more metabolically active foods. So again, that's when the oatmeal and the cereals and the pancakes and that whole idea of wanting a little denser foods. And so one of the things that I really enjoy as far as a breakfast, as far as a gluten-free oatmeal, is I will take a half a cup of oatmeal and I will cook it with some coconut or almond milk. When it gets soft, I'll put 4 tablespoons of chia seed in there. So now I've increased the fiber, I've increased the density of it. I'll put some coconut flakes in there because they're very high on the fiber and very low on the glucose. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, and once that's cooked, then I'll have probably enough for at least 3 servings on a half a cup. So a half a cup of gluten-free oatmeal is about 30 carbohydrates. So you figure 3 to 4 servings of that. And then then I have that ready so that when I want to have breakfast the next morning or that day, I'll take a couple tablespoons of the oatmeal and the chia seed, and then I'll put 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds in there along with some chopped walnuts and then some more coconut milk. And then again, you have that density. So it's really important to think about, well, what can I use in place of? Okay, if I can't use potatoes, I can use turnips. If I want something a little denser because it's winter, I can still have my oatmeal, but I can actually bolster it up with some hemp seeds to give you the protein, some nuts to give you the good fats, and still maintain that sense of satiety. Again, it's really important that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is to take some lemon water, some warm lemon water with a little bit of stevia if you want it, if you want a little sweetener to it. Again, it will start your whole lymphatic system, start that sensation of fullness, but also into detoxification. So think, every time I'm going to eat a meal, I go for 8 ounces of water prior to, which will make it a lot easier, because during the winter, you're going to have the heater on and your skin gets really dry and we get dehydrated. And so it's really important to think, half of your body weight in ounces in regards to the amount of water that you should be consuming. So that really helps. So if I'm drinking all the time and I'm keeping my hands full and I get bored and it gets dark so early and we start to watch TV and we're looking for something, so that nice tea with a little bit of almond milk, again, any of those liquids are going to support you maintaining your weight better during this holiday season, and still be able to come out in the new year with the mindset, at least I didn't gain, I might not have lost, but of course during the new year I'm going to have an incredible 6-week program that's going to do a lot of what I call rebalancing the mental map in regards of our belief systems, how we eat, how we think, and it's going to be really powerful, so you'll have an opportunity to join in on that with me at the Center of New Medicine. I'm going to give this a little look here and see how we are going here. So this looks fantastic. Excellent. So I'm just going to add a little bit of oregano to this. I can see that the zucchini is starting to soften up a little bit now, so that's beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and add a little thyme, even though I added all these herbs earlier just to give that bone broth a really good rich density. I'm just going to add a little bit more because I like the way it looks and the presentation of having a little herbs on there as well. So just a tad of thyme, not much, just a little teeny bit of pepper. Where is my salt? Over there. Can you hand me my salt, please? Doesn't that look gorgeous? Oh my God, that's gonna. My daughter says, oh, maybe I should stay and wait for the soup to be done. She says, Mom, can you save me some? I said, absolutely. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add these turnips. And again, you can just add according to your desire. I don't wanna overpower it with too many turnips, but just enough to give it that potato-ish look. We're not gonna have noodles, which is your traditional turkey noodle soup, but we're gonna have something that makes you feel like you're still getting the density of some carbohydrates. Okay, excellent. We're going to put the lid back on that. So really this shouldn't take very long because I cut them up quite small. And actually if you overcook them, they get kind of mushy. So you want to keep them a little firm so that they will feel a little bit like potato. But they'll certainly give you that fake mindset of potato, which is really good. Now another thing I like to do is add herbs. So I'm going to add a little parsley right at the end. And again, parsley is excellent because it really supports the kidneys. So one of the things that I've been doing a lot this winter is doing a lot of juicing, and so since it's the holiday season with the cranberries, one of the things that I've been doing is lots of ginger, cranberries, lemon, grapefruit, and I'll make a really, a very strong tincture of this. And then I'll use like 3 or 4 tablespoons in some water, warm water in the morning, and that's kind of a detoxification. My daughter had mentioned to me, she says, oh yeah, I went out last night and gosh, I felt like I should have been hungover, but you gave me that drink and I felt fantastic. What was it? What did it do for me? And I said, well, it kind of acts as an immune boosting element, and so potentially that helped her. So I tell her this isn't, we're not going to use this in place of, but this is certainly a medicinal thing that you can do to keep the colds away and also potentially the hangover away as well. Now I've diced up the turkey already, so however much was left for you. We did 2 turkeys here, and honestly, I gave half to my sister and we took half, and this is it. That's all that's left. So we had a great Thanksgiving. Everybody enjoyed themselves thoroughly. But again, that's one of the things we always say, the little extra next day is super important for the soup. So got to save a little bit of that back. All right, let's see how we're going here. Almost. So you can see here, I just put these in just a few minutes ago, and they're already starting to get a little soft. But I'm just going to go ahead and taste them because we don't want it too hard. A minute or 2. Let's go ahead and put some salt in there. This is beautiful Celtic salt. Okay, excellent. And already this broth is already salty without even putting any salt in it, because of the minerals that have been leached into this wonderful broth. Is already going to have that saltiness of the potassium, the natural sodium from the bone. So again, you really don't have to salt this too much. I'm going to go ahead and have a little taste of this fabulous. Look at that, how beautiful and rich. Oh, it's so fantastic. I'm telling you, I tell my patients you can go on a detox of just bone broth only. If they want to do fasting, oftentimes in the winter, I say, let's go for a bone broth fast. It's fantastic. As again, it's really boosts the immune system, supports the gut, supports the respiratory system, your joints, your collagen. You can't go wrong. Absolutely not. Let's go ahead and add some of this turkey. Just gorgeous. So tonight we're going to have this great soup and a beautiful salad, and that's going to be dinner tonight, and it's going to feel really good. Again, you're only as good as your last meal. So if last night we all blew it a little bit, you fix it by breakfast and you maintain that mindset and get back on to your protocol. I always say when we put ourselves in a navigational system, when we make the wrong turn, it says take the next left. Well, if we adhere to it, then we can maintain that good sense of vitality and health without going over the edge and waiting for Monday morning to start again, which is never a good idea. So again, it's always say I'm going to reboot, I'm going to bless my food, I'm going to enjoy it with enthusiasm, but at the same time I'm going to pay really close attention to how I feel. And if I don't feel perfect after eating 20 different combinations of food and potentially overdoing it a little bit, then again, as a calibration, we immediately go to the next meal, really kind of with the mindset of creating blood sugar stability and balance. So essential. Okay, how are we going here? This looks great, great, great. This soup should only take you a minimum of 30 minutes once you actually start to finish with all this in terms of chopping and putting it all together. Again, the bone broth, I like to do a 24-hour slow cook. 12 hours is sufficient enough. If you cannot get good bones, you can also go on to online to get them. A lot of the Weston Price Foundation, if you go onto the internet, you can look at your chapter for Weston Price Foundation, and they always have excellent quality of good organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised bones, whether it is beef or bison or buffalo or chicken. So that's always a good go-to do. Excellent. Let's see here. All right. We are just about done with this. I'm going to take another little test of this nice little fake potato that we're doing here. Excellent. Still crunchy enough, but not too hard so that it mimics that sense of potato. I mean, who doesn't love potato? It's that whole texture and the softness of it as you bite into it. So again, we want to maintain that. But again, you know, you don't want to overcook it because you don't want it to turn mushy. You want it to maintain its base. Okay, I think I'm going to add a little teeny bit of parsley now to it. Just for fun, because I love herbs. Fabulous. I'm going to serve this up. So you can see start to finish how easy this can be. You can do this once a week. You can put them in mason jars. You can store them in your freezer so that you can take them out and bring them to work the next day, or have them ready to go for a nice cold winter when you just want to, you know, not think about, you know, cooking, and be able to pull it out and get something that really feels homey, mommy. And also too, if you have a cold, this is going to be great for the respiratory system to get you back onto your feet. So let's go ahead and put this in this beautiful bowl here, and let's have a look at this. Now, another thing that I always tell patients to do if they want to talk, I didn't use any oils at all. I didn't saute my vegetables because I really try to keep my oils as unadulterated as possible. And so again, there was plenty of good fats that were coming off of the meat that I had in there, and the skin and the bone, so it's plenty of good fat. But what I also like to do is just top it with just a little teeny bit of avocado. And this is kind of something that we do in our family, but I always say a good healthy fat just satiates you down just a little teeny bit further, which is wonderful. So a little bit of good fat in there with the avocado, and a little bit of parsley. We'll let that go there. Okay, now let's have a look at this. So here it is, fabulous, in a bowl. It's going to help every single aspect of your health, your immune system, your lungs, your detoxification, any issues that you might have with leaky gut. And of course, it's so full of love and absolutely wonderful. I'm gonna give it a go here. That is excellent. Well, I hope you enjoy your bone broth turkey soup, and share it with all of your family with a lot of love. And till next Friday, have a great day.